Deep within the lush jungles of Venezuela lurks an 8-legged predator, which is every bit as cunning as it is beautiful. This animal is not only perfectly designed by nature in its ability to catch prey and escape danger at incredible speeds, but also its colors and patterns are extremely suited to its environment. In many ways, it is the tiger of tarantulas. I am of course talking about the Psalmopoeus irminia, or the Venezuelan Suntiger. This is a medium-sized New World arboreal species, but what makes it and the rest of its genus particularly fascinating and intriguing amongst tarantulas is that although they are New World tarantulas, they are designed to behave a lot more similarly to their Old World cousins. They are not only known for being much faster, more defensive, and possessing a more powerful venom than most New World species, but they also completely lack the urticating hairs that most New Worlds use for defense. Because of this, Psalmopoeus species have to rely on their speed and venom as their main lines of defense. Now, as I stated before, this is an arboreal species. However, a lot of times, they will spend more time on the ground than most arboreals, and will usually even burrow as slings and juveniles, but will also climb a lot as well. Adults even seem to appreciate a good bit more substrate than your standard arboreal, and they will construct these really cool web tunnels which extend from the ground up. A lot of times they will also decorate their webbing with chunks of substrate to use for camouflage. These are often referred to as dirt curtains in the tarantula community. Some keepers would even label these as semi-arboreal, although there is much controversy amongst tarantula keepers as to what tarantulas truly fit into this category. A few other genus and species, including Poecilotheria, Tapiacinus, and the Heteroscodra maculata, construct their habitats in a similar manner to this one. Although they do like to dig occasionally, I still house my P. irminias as I would a typical arboreal, with an enclosure that is taller than it is wide. Spiderlings I keep in a small 8-ounce plastic deli cup or spiderling enclosure, filled about halfway with substrate. I also provide plenty of cross ventilation, as well as some top, and give them a small branch or piece of cork bark to hide behind and attach a web to. I also sometimes add a few fake leaves or vines for added shelter, and also to give it a more naturalistic look. For substrate, I use a mix of cocoa fiber and pesticide-free topsoil, and add a thin layer of sphagnum or terrarium moss on top for additional humidity. Juveniles and subadults I house in a 1-gallon plastic container with holes drilled into the sides. And finally, my adults I keep in a 5-gallon plastic or acrylic terrarium. I provide both my juveniles and adults with a slab of cork bark that is roughly twice the width of the T's leg span, and all sizes get a water dish. This species does appreciate some humidity and moisture, being that it comes from a tropical climate. However, it does seem a bit more resilient to drier conditions than many other tropical species. All Psalmopoeus species are rather high-strung and fast to move when startled, and out of all of them, the Suntiger seems to be the most defensive. They are far quicker to defend themselves by biting than any of my Poecilotheria species. This one also happens to be, in my experience, the most reclusive of them all, spending about 90% of its time hidden away in its web tunnel, although I do catch her every now and again exploring her enclosure late at night when all of the lights are turned off. Psalmopoeus do tend to be extremely photosensitive and do not like light. It is a slight shame that this species is as secretive as it is, as it is amongst one of the most stunning tarantulas out there. The contrast between the jet black body color and those orange tiger stripes on the abdomen make them a perfect Halloween tarantula. I especially find the orange lightning bolts on the tarsi to be drop dead gorgeous. The P. irminia is one of the smaller members of its genus, reaching between 5 and 6 inches for a mature female, with males staying somewhat smaller at about 4 inches. They have a pretty fast growth rate, although it is noticeably slower than that of the P. cambridgei. Female sun tigers typically live up to 12 years or so in captivity, with males only living about 3 or 4 and maturing much quicker. This species is sexually dimorphic, and mature male irminias are very easy to distinguish from their female counterparts. Well guys, that's all for this time. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to follow me on social media as well. I have links to that in the description below. And as always, you guys stay awesome.